Hi and welcome to BioStock Studio. Danish DanCann Pharma are active within an expanding area of life sciences, therapeutic cannabinoids. The company is expecting to reach its commercial breakthrough within the near future, and to finance its business plan and commercialization, they are now conducting a rights issue. Here to tell us more is CEO Jeppe Rasmussen. Welcome, Jeppe.
Thanks for having me.
So if we start with quite a basic question, what problem does DanCann Pharma solve?
Yeah, so basically DanCann Pharma is a company working within cannabinoid therapeutics, but also so-called medical cannabis. We were set into this world with a quite simple mission, I think, so to enhance and make these kind of products accessible for patients in Denmark, Scandinavia, and also in Europe, so to speak, yeah.
So if we look at the area of therapeutic cannabinoids, still a quite new area within pharmaceuticals, if we look at your product compared to the competitors, how do they differ?
Definitely still a new area for doing what we're doing here in Denmark, but also in Scandinavia and also in Europe. We are trying to do things a bit differently, both in terms of how we are producing our own starting materials, but also looking into the way that we want to shape our future product portfolio, so to speak, looking more into IP-based rights, so-called. For sure, there is like competitors out there, but it is also, as mentioned before, still a very young industry, so to speak. But certainly we try to like do our differentiation in a good matter of way, so we don't tap into the totally generic kind of market.
And we talked here a bit about your commercial breakthrough, which you're expecting to reach soon. How do you define a commercial breakthrough?
We define our commercial breakthrough as now we have been like, for the last 4 or 5 years, we have used a lot of funds into mainly our facility, and we have been in an approval process for a long time now. And now it seems like we're getting there. We applied back in January this year for a facility for our EU GMP certification. And we have now been confirmed that we will have the inspection during November. And if everything goes well, we will have the approval during, you can say, before end this year. So basically, talking into commercial breakthrough, for us, it is a matter of that we're now going to like have our products actually being commercial. And as of today, before we have the approvals, this is more something we need to get rid of and destroy and actually pay for getting rid of. And from the day that we have the approval and we have the stability studies for products, which will be within like 6 months or something, then we will be able to actually getting revenue for the products that we produce. So finally, after a long and hard work, things is about to pay off, I think so.
You mentioned revenue here. If we look a little bit at your business plan, can you tell us about the overall business plan of DanCann Pharma?
Yeah, our business plan is heavily based in terms of our first facility called Biotech Farm 1. Also the previous one that I mentioned in terms of our approvals. The facility is like designed and constructed as for being produced starting material to also our own future products, but especially also for other downstream manufacturers in Europe that we export these kind of starting materials for. Besides that, we do also have our import and distribution, part of our business here in Denmark. We acquired one of our colleagues last year called Krog, and that is like an approved machine, as we used to call it, that as of today has 3 products on the Danish market, has been like the market leader more or less from the very first beginning of when the pilot program was set into action back in 2018. And there we have 3 products and also an ongoing pipeline that we aim to introduce to the program, so to speak. And lastly, we do also have a leg more in terms of long-term strategy, so to speak, where we tap more into actual pharmaceuticals, which is based on clinically data developed like we used to develop pharmaceuticals, so to speak. And with that, there is some time. So that belongs to the future more than right now. So we really try to like do a de-risk kind of business plan where we both have exciting things happening in the short time, the middle time, but also on the long term. So we are well suited for the future.
And one question that investors are always interested in, when do you expect to reach break even?
Yeah, also a very exciting question. If we are going to succeed with all rights issue right now to the full amount that we seek, we will be able to reach our break even during 2024. This is mainly based on our production side, so to speak, and that reaching this commercial stage once again. So it is quite just around the corner, I would say. And if we are going to succeed with the fully subscribed amount in the rights issue, we will also be in a position where we doesn't need to you can say raise additional capital before actually being at that point in 2024. And I also think that's quite positive also for the investors to know that we are not going to dilute the shareholders further on after this if everything goes well, so to speak. Yeah.
Could you just remind me what is the full amount that you are seeking in the rights issue? In the rights issue right now, we are seeking 28.5 million Danish kroner. That's the amount, and then we also have built some mechanism in there in terms of some warrants next year. And that's the two things in the case, I would say. And then finally, what are your best arguments for investing in DanCann Pharma? Oh, I think there is a lot of good reasons to look at DanCann Pharma and also in general medical cannabis companies and those looking into cannabinoid therapeutics, so to speak. Once again, I think we have mentioned it a couple of times now, the commercial breakthrough, of course. We have been using so many years now and put it so much hard effort and work into come at this point, and now we're actually getting there. So I think that's something you should be aware of as an investor. Furthermore, looking at the peerscape, so to speak, we have very, very cheap value at the moment. So I think you have a good entry point as an investor if you consider taking part in the rights issue. And lastly, I also think it's important to be aware of all the stuff happening in the world right now in terms of cannabis as a general substance, so to speak, and all the ongoing good news that we hear and in more acceptance of cannabis as a substance in general, which I also think is very positive. Also for companies such as DanCann Pharma, even though we don't do recreative stuff, but the accept and the less stigma around our business is very positive, and it kind of shows that there is a future for this. And I certainly also think that we have just seen the very, very first start. So yeah. And with that, we've got some insights into the field of therapeutic cannabinoids and the rights issue of DanCann Pharma. Thank you so much, Jeppe. Thanks for having me.